Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, you already know who it is. It is your boy Lewis, man. Welcome back to the Lewis Basketball Channel. I am back with another one with another banger with yet another video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Make sure to like the video, man. Make sure to share this video, man. Only helps the channel grow. Truly appreciate it. Wow, man. I told y'all, man, that the Warriors were going to win in 6. I picked the Warriors to win tonight. And even without Kevin Durant, they were able to find a way to pull it off. The Warriors win 118 to 113. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable, man. The Splash Bros, they came true, man. They lived up to the name. This is why the Warriors have been the way they've been for the last 5 years, man. In this championship run that they've been on, man, it's amazing. So I'm just gonna go right head into the stats. So for the game, we have the Warriors shoot 49%, the Rockets shoot 47%. The Warriors made 16 threes. The Rockets, it's crazy how the Rockets won the three-point battle just by 17 to 39. The Warriors, 16 to 38. The Warriors got 6 more free throws and shot 78%, while the Rockets shot 70%. The rebounding, the Rockets, this was the first game in the series, ladies and gentlemen, that the team that won the rebounding battle did not win the game. The Rockets out-rebounded the Warriors by 5 total, and they had 2 more offensive rebounds at 12 to 10. The Warriors out-assisted them 25-21. It's expected because the Warriors shared the ball. The Warriors had 7 blocks. They had 9 steals. The Warriors committed 17 turnovers, 2 more than the Rockets, but it didn't matter. And the Warriors just about 2 more points in the paint. But the Rockets committed more fouls. If we look at the Rockets, ladies and gentlemen, they have 4 guys in double figures. PJ Tucker gave you 15 points in 45 minutes. Klay Capella gave you a double-double, 10 and 10 in 31 minutes, but I feel like they weren't impactful, so I feel like it wasn't enough. Andrew Bogut played good defense on Klay Capella in that first half, especially. James Harden in 39 minutes gives you 35 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Chris Paul gave you this was his best game of the series, but my problem with Chris Paul is too little, too late. 27 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists. He tried playing the acting job, trying to draw a foul from the ref pretty much the entire series, and even tried doing it in this game instead of just balling. I think if CP3 balls out, I honestly think that the Rockets most likely win this series. Because let's look at this, man. So I just laid down the stats for the Rockets, and they have 4 guys in double figures. But when you look at it, Iman Shumpert didn't score in 11 minutes. Gerald Green and Austin Rivers hit 2 threes. Look at it this time. The Rockets only gave you 17 points off the bench. And the Warrior bench had only scored an average of 10 points in the series. Their bench was super thin, especially with Kevin Durant. And then if we look at the Warrior side, Andre Iguodala, 38 minutes, 17 points. Draymond Green, a near triple-double, 8 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, even though he was in foul trouble. But 2 of the fouls were really bogus. Andrew Bogut didn't score, but his stats won't tell you the impact that he had defensively on Capella. He really neutralized him. Klay Thompson in 40 minutes played had 27 points. Steph Curry, even with foul trouble. Steph Curry goes scoreless in the first half. Steph Curry committed 6 turnovers in the game and comes back, ladies and gentlemen, with a Kobe-esque 33 second half point. Let me just say this also before I talk about the bench. In the last 5 minutes of the game, ladies and gentlemen, Steph Curry had 16 points in the fourth quarter. He had 21 of his 31 in the fourth quarter. 21 of his 33, I should say, in the fourth quarter. No. He had 23 of his 33 in the fourth quarter because Steph Curry had 10 points, I think, in the third quarter. 23 points in the fourth quarter of his 33. That just tells me that the Rockets defense that trapped Curry in the first half so well didn't do well in the first half, in the second half. The Rockets as a team had 16 points in that 5-minute stretch that Steph Curry scored 16. So one basketball player had the same amount of points as your entire starting lineup. And Curry had been having a horrible series throughout. And in the last 2 games in the fourth quarter, Steph Curry has been clutch. See, Kevon Looney gets the game ball for game 5 in terms of how impactful he was. And he played well once again. Kevon Looney was out here playing for a max contract. That's how well he played tonight. I mean, he played that well. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, when you look at this, I just say to myself, I mean, look, they got 6 guys in they got 5 guys in double figures. I mean, Kevon Looney gave you 14 points, and Sean Livingston chipped in 11. And if you look at the bench, they outscored the Rockets bench 33-17. The one game that the Warriors got the solid bench production ended up in the win. So the Warriors lost the rebounding battle, but they got help from the bench. They blocked 7 shots to the Rockets 1, which means they played very, very, very hard on defense. And I'm sorry, but the Rockets defense wasn't great at all. There were 2 plays in the fourth quarter that stood out to me, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Paul's guarding Steph Curry. I think Draymond sets a pick, but Chris Paul has his eye on the ball that Draymond Green has. And I'm like, and I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, oh, Steph Curry's going to curl and he's going to shoot the 3. Chris Paul keeps his eye on the ball, doesn't see his man. Curry comes off the curl, shoots the 3 right in his face.
There you go, bro.
And then on another play, they decide to double on Steph Curry and they overload on the trap. And that was my problem with the Houston Rockets. I feel like they overloaded too much on Steph Curry. Because look how those other guys got involved. It just tells you Curry may not be the best player on the Warriors, even though some people are going to feel that way. But I will say Curry is, I call him the 2 eyes. He's the most important and the most impactful. Now, you're going to need Kevin Durant to win the championship ultimately. But Steph Curry just showed you that they can win without him. And they did it the last 2 games. One was kind of on call with KD's injury, and the other one was for a full 48 minutes. And I said, can the Warriors win a full 48-minute game without Kevin Durant? And they proved it, man. They got 33 bench points. They moved the basketball, and they beat the Houston Rockets. They beat them. And, you know, shout out. And with Harden and CP3, they balled out. Okay? I give respect to Harden and CP3. They balled out. They played like they didn't want to be known as guys that were going to choke. Here's the problem. Eric Gordon Eric Gordon struggled tonight. He only had 9 points. And I hate to say this, but I think this was Chris Paul's last chance to win the championship. I think it was his last shot. I think his window is closed. Unless if he could go to a deep team. But it's like nobody's going to take on that contract. I think Chris Paul's making, $35 million this year. He makes $38 million next year. And then it goes up to $44 million by the end of his 4-year deal. That's a lot of money for an aging superstar that's past his prime. And James Harden, let's face it, he may not necessarily have choked. But the Rockets, think about this, man. Steph Curry had no points in the first half. People kept saying, without Kevin Durant, the Rockets should have taken advantage of this. Draymond Green is in foul trouble. There's no Boogie. There's no KD. The bench has only averaged 10 points through the first 5 games of this series. And yet they allowed the bench to score 20 points in the first half. And the game was tied at 57. And all I kept saying was, a wounded animal is a dangerous animal. Second half, in the third quarter, it looks like the Rockets are going to pull away with the victory. But it was still a 5-point game. And I'm just like, and what's so crazy was Chris Paul tried to flop his way into calls as usual, even though he balled out. He was 10 for 15 from the field. Chris Paul was too little, too late, man. Too little, too late. They could have used you, and you could have used yourself in Game 5 instead of going 3 for 14 and trying to get foul calls. And it was like, even then, so it's like, yo, why haven't they created this separation, man? It's like, I'm just waiting for that Rockets run, and it just really never came. The Warriors stayed poised. They played together. They continued to move the ball, and they just executed. And what got me mad about the Houston Rockets, they worried about trading baskets than trying to play defense. And it cost them. It cost them. And Curry was getting much better looks in the fourth quarter. That's the worst part. and you allow him to score 16 points in a 5-minute stretch, that's unacceptable if you're the Rockets. That just told me defensively you were terrible, and all you care about was trying to outscore them. And once again, I'm going to say it again. Mike D'Antoni is not a championship coach, and this Game 6 proved it. It proved it. Why didn't Kenneth Faried play? I don't understand that for the life of me. Why didn't he play? I guess Daniel House really wasn't going to be a factor because he didn't play him neither. I mean, Eric Gordon only chipped in 9 points when he looked like he was due for a big game. Nowhere to be found in that fourth quarter. So my thing is now, James Harden, he averaged 34 in the postseason, but it's not going to mean anything because it's like what Jeff Van Gundy said in the game. Numbers don't mean anything, and they don't impact without victories. And it's absolutely right. When you look at Steph Curry, if the Warriors would have lost and Steph Curry scores 33 second half points, it's going to be, well, Curry was amazing in the second half. But it was like what destroyed Curry was the first half. See, they're going to use the first half against him. I would have said they lost the game because if Curry scores in the first half, they would have won. But the thing was, the Warriors as a team kept themselves in the game. And Curry's 33 second half points were much more meaningful because the Warriors stayed in the game. They didn't allow the Rockets to chip away, to break the game open. They just stayed the course and stayed in the game. They never let the Rockets get away from them. They just hung around the entire time. And I think the Rockets' biggest lead was, 7 or 8 points. And the Warriors found a way to win, man. And ladies and gentlemen, this win just elevated Curry's legacy on whole new levels. I think now with this, he is in the top 30. He just moved up. I would even put him at number 30 right now. Curry, to me, is a top 30 player with this victory. And what's happened with James Harden now is like CP3 just lost his opportunity to me of winning any more rings. And James Harden, once again, leads us disappointed. Like I said, Chris Paul and James Harden, they balled out. But the bottom line is, at the end of the day, this is about wins and losses. And both of those guys didn't get it done. Mike D'Antoni needs to get fired. Daryl Morey needs to go as the GM. It's like really need to ask. It's like it's so stupid that people are saying, and Stephen A. Smith was ranting, saying, "Oh, you really need to ask yourself, does this system and style of play work?" And ladies and gentlemen, what did I tell you before the series started? I said, you are delusional if you think that the Houston Rockets style of play is going to beat the Warriors in a 7-game series, unless if they get the favorable foul calls and a key player gets injured. They happen to beat Durant. Now imagine if it was Steph Curry or Klay Thompson. That's a different story. Kevin Durant, like I said, is the best player on the team, but he is not the most important. It is Steph Curry. And the Houston Rockets just proved to me that they're not a championship team. They may have the components, but their system is not of a championship team. And that's why they lost. And I'm going to say this right now. Rocket fans, after another year losing in the playoffs with Mike D'Antoni as your coach and your 2 star players, let's face it, man. Y'all need to go outside the Toyota Center right now and protest. I know the Laker fans had their protests with what's going on with the organization. Y'all need to do the same thing and figure out why is it that these guys keep finding ways to lose in the biggest of games. I'm not going to necessarily say that Harden and Paul choked, but this is going to take a hit on their legacy because they had the advantage and they couldn't take advantage of it. That's what's really sad. And to me, Harden and Paul, played in a way as to say, I'm not going to get blamed if we lose. That's what's disappointing. And in Game 5, you could tell that Harden and Paul were both scared, though. Like, they just didn't want to be part of the moment. And I told you guys, I said, yo, be prepared for the Road Warriors, man. I call them the Road Warriors. That's what the Splash Brothers were, and the entire Warrior organization and the entire team. Like I said, Harden and Paul, they did their thing, but once again, you got to look at those little things. I just thought defensively, they were focused on trading baskets instead of trying to get stops. and you let the most dangerous player on the court score 33 second half points. You let him get going, he gets into a rhythm, and he scores 23 of his 33 points in the fourth quarter. That's crazy. No Boogie, no KD. Curry in foul trouble, Draymond in foul trouble. Curry goes scoreless, and the game was tied. I said, damn. And that was with the refs in your pocket, Houston Rockets. The amount of foul calls y'all got away with, and y'all still couldn't get the job done. That to me is crazy. That's crazy. And now by the Warriors eliminating the Rockets, they'll actually have the chance to rest a little bit more. They'll have a little bit more off days to ning up a little bit of injuries that they have. While the Nuggets and the Blazers, they slug it out in a slugfest in that Game 7 on Sunday at 3:30 on ABC. So it's gonna be something. And then the Raptors and the Sixers play both on Mother's Day. So you got 2 Game 7s. I kept saying to myself, if the Rockets would have won, they could have forced 3 Game 7s. And that's crazy, right? They could have forced 3 Game 7s on Mother's Day. But it didn't happen. And the Warriors got it done. Let me tell you this again, ladies and gentlemen. The Warriors proved to you that they were battle tested. The Rockets had their players healthy. The Warriors did not have Kevin Durant. No Boogie Cousins. And they go on the road and win by 5. The Rockets had no business losing that basketball game, and they found a way to lose it. And once again, give the Warriors credit, man. Steve Kerr did a nice job playing guys extra minutes, and the Warriors gave you 33 bench points. And Steve Kerr was even admitting that he needs to play some guys longer. And it's like, exactly. This almost cost you last year when you chose not to play JaVale McGee. Like, dude, what do you be thinking, man? This is what sometimes I think people always do kind of say that Kerr is, in a way, is overrated. So I can understand it. But yeah, man, it's So it's like, even if James Harden were to win the MVP, it's gonna be like, bro, you didn't get it done in the playoffs. Now what they're going to do is they're just gonna keep saying James Harden is a regular season player. That's all they're gonna say about him. And like I said with Chris Paul, why did he wait after 5 games to play well? And that's the things that you got to think about, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you guys got to think about. Those guys they should have been better than that. And defensively, I just saw how lazy both Harden and Paul were in key moments of the game. And I'm just like, you didn't need to double on Steph Curry so hard. Like, you should have made him work on the defensive end. And then on the offensive end, you honestly should have just done light traps or trap him super hard when he would make his move. But not overload to the point like you're overloading them like crazy when he passes half court. I'm sorry, man, but that just doesn't work. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But anyway, this is your boy Lewis with another one. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, man. As always, man, bless up. One love. Peace. Thanks for watching. Hell of a game. And congratulations to the Warriors on making it to the Western Conference Finals for a 5th consecutive year.